Movement is so important in Shakespeare, even though we think, oh, the words, but because the words are different, or you might not understand what they mean the first time you hear them, if the movement is clear and the choices are strong, it's so much easier to understand, and again, more fun to play as an actor.
I think reading it can be intimidating, I think a lot of times. I found it intimidating when I was in high school. Working with the words. I used to fear the language, or I would kind of back away from it as I worked on Shakespeare. Now I find a way to sort of embrace it, embrace the rhythm, the cadence, the rhyme, I guess sort of, I like to call it like letting it sing, I guess, to like let the language do what it does and let it kind of fly.
His work is totally worth sitting down and looking at and actually spending time with the text, because every word was put there for a reason, and teachers have always told me that, but actually when you start believing in that and actually using each word purposefully, so much more comes to life.
If you see it on stage and in front of you, and if we do our job, which I think we will, you'll be able to understand it more, and you'll be able to appreciate it, things that you wouldn't be able to if you're just reading it in front, because Shakespeare was meant to be performed.
The size of these stories, or the myth of them, is really important.
The interesting thing that I find is that people are people, working through their own problems, dealing with issues, and they have the same sort of joys and sadness that we have now.
In Midsummer, there's a bunch of different storylines, and they're stories that have lasted for a long time. They're around before Shakespeare. They're being written now. A girl who's in love with a guy and her father doesn't approve.
Hermia is a lover. She, is fully in love with Lysander and wants to be with him.
Lysander's a good guy. He's just trying to, be with the person he loves, and he's running into some issues with it.
This idea of like outside forces influencing, the lives of mere mortals, and they don't even know.
Puck always creates problems.
Ooh, look, we're magical.
And bumbling kind of do-gooders, which is a story that's told all the time.
I'm playing Starveling, the custodian, as a really old, rickety man. So he can barely stand, his legs are shaking, he can't move very quickly.
They're really powerful stories and really important work to have reverence for.
In studying Shakespeare, I have learned, and I think I'm beginning to understand, the power of just words in general.
Hearing it, you get to really experience the language. You get to experience the imagery. It's imaginative, and it shows you something really kind of outside our normal understanding of language. It's not just how we talk to each other every day, but it involves something kind of mystical and fantastic and strange and beautiful and odd and terrifying, and all these things kind of happen at the same time in a very visual form, but through like an oral way of going about it.
Words were sort of his paintbrush, if you will. The words you choose to speak create our reality. And so as I'm learning that, I'm realizing what a responsibility that is, and it challenges me in my life and how I use language and how we speak to each other and what we speak into the world.
I realized that it's actually wonderful once you fully understand it. And so now that I've done it a while, when I read through these plays, it's like my own language. It's not a different language to me. It's not, Old English. It's now.
It impacts me because I think there's something in the text that I like to follow. There's a reason that it rhymes, especially for Oberon. The fairies tend to have a lot of like rhyme and like sort of flow to the words, almost a little bit like modern rap music in a way. There's like a pentameter, there's something that like a rhythm that you kind of carries you, and it's kind of fun to get caught in that.
The rhythm that Shakespeare puts in his words, it's built into how we say words. And so when I went back and looked at the words I was saying and seeing like, oh my gosh, Shakespeare is directing me through his words. He's telling me almost how to say it or how to feel about what I'm saying.
Here at the FSU Asolo Conservatory, in our first 2 years, we take movement class every morning. with a really fantastic instructor, which I think has just really opened everyone in our cast up to using our bodies more freely in a more exciting way. And then with Jen Weinman, our director, being so movement-based, we've really been able to hone that and channel that into our characters.
At the beginning of rehearsals, we'll do like dance parties, we'll put on music, and we've danced as like the different characters or different classes of characters, the workers at the school, the teachers at the school, the students, and it's just really fun, like being able to just freely explore.
One of the strengths we have as a class is that we are a tight ensemble of 10, and we get to like explore movement and dance and characterization as a team.
Moth doesn't have any lines, so everything I get to express through that character is all through movement.
You know, I get to be a lover at one point, and then I get to be mechanical and wear this, and then I get to be a fairy and wear a completely different costume.
Anyone in the room is allowed to just throw out ideas. And 9 times out of 10, we go, yeah, let's try it. And we do. And so it doesn't feel like work.
I get to wear a fat suit. I've never done that before. It's huge. And it just, you know, we have a lot of quick changes in the show, so I have to I pretty much just dive into it.
My favorite part is watching my classmates because they're all so funny. They're really talented, really brilliant, and new things happen every day, and it's fun to watch things change and grow, and people do crazy things that might not even make it to the final production, but they're really fun to watch.
Everyone on the show is so funny, so you'll see.